Recently, I stumbled across a new wrestling movie that apparently is set to come out called Queen of the Ring. And I saw that Jim Cornette is in this movie playing a NWA commissioner. Now, Jim Cornette is supposed to be this controversial podcaster, but if you haven't noticed, a lot of I should say all of the mainstream media controversial figures still somehow manage to get heavy corporate sponsors and placed in movies like Jim Cornette. Because, the fact of the matter is, even though he fits the stereotypical narrative of what they would label as a white racist man, he's an older white guy from the South. He's caught on video saying nigger far more intensely than Hulk Hogan was. But yet, he's still loved by the very same people that would boo Hulk Hogan. And the reason why that is because he's one of these libtards that spout a bunch of libtarded talking points about how Trump is evil and Republicans are evil. And yet he resides in a state that, based on this recent election, voted 64.6% for Donald Trump. So it makes you wonder, well, why would he live in a state that is MAGA filled and Republican voting? It's simple. He's just like every other woke white libtard, especially ones with money. He'll spew that nonsense, but he doesn't want any of that diversity nonsense around his own living place. In fact, I came across a story also where he was standing up against a housing development that was trying to put additional homes near where he lived. Now, of course, he tried to act like he was championing the environmental aspect of it, but we know the fact is he didn't want any of them niggers or immigrants living around his neighborhood because he lives, not only does he live in Kentucky, but he lives in Kentucky in the middle of nowhere. Now, for someone who talks the way he does, you would assume, well, why doesn't he live in New York? Why doesn't he live in Hollywood, California, Chicago, Illinois? These great beacons of liberalism and pro-Democrat Party. Why not in Washington, D.C., Maryland? Because he's full of shit just like every other liberal is. And that's why I can't stand these people. They advocate for nonsense that they don't actually want to live around. And that's why when I see people like a Cornette get hit directly by his own politics, I celebrate it. Because it's what these hypocritical bastards deserve. And so that's just what came to mind to me when I saw the fact that he was in a Hollywood movie. He's in a Hollywood movie, but he will never live in Hollywood. And in fact, when I used to listen to his podcast, he would talk about how he couldn't stand being up north. But he'll sit his fat white ass in a really nice home in the South while ranting about the Republicans that make that possible. Where he can have a huge house that's very affordable, especially for someone like him, and have a huge house where he has land around him. Because again, him as a Democrat, he should be just fine living amongst hundreds of homes. The urbanization nonsense that his party advocates for. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this douchebag and people like him.